young man's name is Bobby Fischer. He is 15 years old. And listen to this. Already, he is the United States chess champion.
They say that chess is a mirror. If you look long enough into the 64 squares, you don't just see a game. You see the soul of the person sitting across from you. For most, it is a hobby. For some, a profession. But for Robert James Fischer, it was a haunting. Imagine a mind so sharp it could cut through the world's most complex defenses like a hot knife through butter. A mind that saw thousands of possibilities in a single second. But imagine that same mind slowly turning against itself. In the heat of the Cold War, one American boy became the most powerful weapon in his country's arsenal. He didn't carry a gun, and he didn't fly a jet. He moved pieces of wood on a checkered board. Yet, the Soviet Union, a superpower that used chess as a symbol of its intellectual dominance, feared him more than any diplomat or spy. But who was the real Bobby Fischer? Was he the hero who saved Western chess? Or was he a man possessed by a genius so volatile that it eventually consumed everything he loved? Today, we go beyond the moves. We dive into the psyche of the most dangerous mind in chess history. Bobby Fischer didn't have a normal childhood. Raised by a single mother in a cramped Brooklyn apartment, Bobby was a restless child. That was, until his sister bought him a candy store chess set. From that moment, the world outside ceased to exist. While other teenagers were experiencing the birth of rock and roll, Bobby was locked in his room, studying Russian chess magazines. He taught himself the language just so he could read their tactical secrets. He wasn't just learning, he was obsessing. By age 13, Bobby became a household name in the chess world. In 1956, he played a game against Donald Byrne that is now immortalized as the game of the century. Think about that. A 13-year-old child, sacrificing his queen for a series of minor pieces, weaving a web of coordination so complex that the world's top grandmasters sat in stunned silence. But even then, the cracks were showing. Bobby didn't just want to win, he wanted to destroy. He once said, "I like the moment when I break a man's ego." He wasn't playing against pieces. He was attacking the human being on the other side. He demanded perfection, and he had no patience for anyone who couldn't match his intensity. He was a lone wolf entering a forest full of bears. But what made Bobby's mind so much more dangerous than his peers? It wasn't just raw talent. It was a level of preparation the world had never seen. Long before computers could analyze millions of positions, Bobby was a human engine. He spent 14 hours a day studying, often with multiple boards spread across his room. He didn't just study his own games. He dissected the entire history of chess, finding flaws in perfect games played 100 years ago. He was also a visionary who felt that classical chess was becoming dead. He believed that memorization of opening theory was killing creativity. This led him to invent Fischer random chess, or Chess 960, a variant where the pieces are shuffled at the start. He wanted to return the game to pure talent, where no one could hide behind a computer or a book. Even his contribution to the chess clock changed the game forever. The Fischer increment, which adds seconds after every move, is now the global standard. He didn't just play the game. He re-engineered the very way we compete. Bobby Fischer was living in 2026 while the rest of the world was still stuck in the 19th century. He had perfected the science of the game, but in doing so, he left no room for his own humanity to breathe. For nearly 30 years, the World Chess Championship was a private Soviet party. They had the best coaches, the best libraries, and they worked together to ensure the title never left Moscow. To them, chess proved that communism produced better thinkers. Then came Bobby. The path to the 1972 World Championship in Reykjavik was a trail of wreckage. In the candidates' matches, Fischer did something statistically impossible. He defeated Mark Taimanov 6-0. Then, he defeated Bent Larsen 6-0. In the world of elite chess, winning 6 games in a row without a single draw is like a boxer winning every round by knockout without ever being touched. It was superhuman. When he finally reached the champion, Boris Spassky, the match became a global phenomenon. It was the United States versus the Soviet Union. Capitalism versus communism. But Fischer almost didn't show up. He hated the cameras. He hated the noise of the chairs. He hated the distance between the players. Many thought he was being a diva. But looking back, it was the first sign of a growing paranoia. He believed the Soviets were using electronic devices to scramble his brain. He believed his phone was tapped. Despite the chaos, despite losing the first game and forfeiting the second, Fischer did the impossible. He played chess that was so pure, so logical, and so aggressive that Spassky, the pride of the Soviet Union, actually stood up and applauded his opponent. Bobby Fischer was now the king of the world. But for Bobby, the victory was the beginning of the end. After becoming world champion, Fischer had the world at his feet. He was offered millions in endorsements. He could have been the most famous man on earth. Instead, he did something that still baffles historians today. He walked away. In 1975, Fischer refused to defend his title against the young Anatoly Karpov due to a dispute over the match rules. He was stripped of his title, and then he vanished. For 20 years, the greatest chess player who ever lived became a ghost. Rumors placed him in underground religious cults, or living as a hermit in California. When he finally re-emerged in 1992 for a rematch against Spassky in Yugoslavia, the world was shocked. This wasn't the sharp, handsome young man from Brooklyn. This was a man with a wild beard and eyes full of fire. The match was held in violation of U.S. sanctions. On live television, Fischer pulled out a government order and spat on it. He won the match, but he lost his home. The U.S. issued a warrant for his arrest. Bobby Fischer, the American hero, was now a fugitive. He spent his final years wandering from country to country, Hungary, Japan, the Philippines, growing more paranoid with every passing year. His brilliance had curdled into bitterness. He began making hateful broadcasts, praising the 9/11 attacks, and descending into dark conspiracy theories. The mind that once mastered the most logical game in the world had lost its grip on reality. Bobby Fischer died in 2008 in Iceland, the very place where he had conquered the world decades earlier. He died at the age of 64, 1 year for every square on the chessboard. A poetic, yet tragic end to a life defined by those 64 squares. Fischer changed chess forever. He brought money to the game. He invented the Fischer random clock, and he showed that a single individual could challenge an empire. But his story is also a cautionary tale. It is the story of what happens when a human mind becomes too focused, too intense, and too isolated. Chess is a beautiful game, but it is also a dangerous one. It demands everything from you. And for Bobby Fischer, he gave it everything, until there was nothing left of himself. He was a king without a kingdom, a genius without a home, and undoubtedly, the most dangerous mind the game has ever seen. Thank you for watching this deep dive into chess history here at Our Chess. If you found this story compelling, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. We have many more legends and mysteries to uncover. What do you think was the turning point for Fischer? Was it the pressure of the Cold War, or was he always destined for this path? Let us know in the comments below. See you in the next match.
What should we discuss about chess next? Comment below. Thank you for watching.